Welcome back, friends. This is TotallyT, your solutions girl. This section is part 3 of your safety training, and the subject is traveling. Traveling can actually be very dangerous if you're not aware of what you need to be looking for. However, there is no guarantee that nothing of a serious nature will ever happen to you or a loved one. This series is intended to awaken your critical thinking, become more aware of your surroundings, and inspire you to create your own plans of action with your family. So let's get started. Code words, whistles, and cell phones. This needs to be practiced before traveling. You need to decide on a code word that the whole family can remember. Text that word to each other, making sure that it is not auto-correcting to a different word. Discuss the situations that differ where you would scream, use the whistle, dial 911 or your country's emergency number, or would you send a code word? Discuss those situations. Code words don't always have to be in a text. It also works well when randomly worked into a group conversation. The family will interpret the meaning as, I'm uncomfortable and I want to leave and I will explain later. So how would you randomly work a code word into a conversation? Your code word needs to be something that your family really never uses, but they can remember. So if you said ginger ale, because nobody drinks ginger ale, you never talk about ginger ale, maybe you could just randomly work that in as like, I feel like ginger ale. And nobody's really going to question that. They might, but the family knows what that means. However, ginger ale is way too long of a code word to text, correct? So what about a 3 or 4 letter word that does not autocorrect? Maybe tot, T-O-T. I feel like a tot. Well, maybe nobody in the group really knows what that means. Somebody asks, you can say, oh, it's a game we play. And yes, guess what? We're playing a game with code words. So maybe that would be something to use. But whatever it is, everybody needs to agree on it and make sure you can text that to each other quickly and discuss different situations, how you would use it, how you could possibly work it into a group conversation randomly that nobody really picks up what's going on. Also, sometimes a code word is not the way to go. The younger the children are, the more they're not really going to understand when and how to use that. So maybe they just need to come and say, Mom, I want to go. And you just need to listen to that, okay, for whatever their reasons. So hopefully that gives you some ideas of how to use code words and prepare to train your family as to use those whistles or cell phones. Are you in a threatening situation? Don't let them take you to a second location. That is, if at all possible. So you will know, trust your instincts, but why I'm saying this now is so you can prepare. Is there anything that you can do? And think this through, practice it. What can you do so you can possibly avoid being taken to a second location? Are you wearing the whistle around your neck or keeping it into your pocket? Can you possibly get to it? Whistles are heard farther than screams, generally speaking. And that is if you get a quality whistle. There are some toy whistles out there, and those just don't carry as far. You'll want to go to your sports section of any store to find a whistle, a good quality whistle. They're about $5. Time each other in the family how fast you can get to each, the whistle and the cell phone. You may be able to get to your phone just as fast as you can get to the whistle. But what is the time difference in dialing 911 or your emergency country's phone contact number? And what's that versus the time of blowing whistle? Please do not dial 911 or your country's emergency number while you're practicing. They will not appreciate it. The point here is, how long does it take you to get your phone out, unlock it, and dial a 3-digit number? And then consider, do you even have cell services? Decide what is best for you. Now, I had a movie theater experience, and I think this will be something for you to put your thinking caps on and start using some critical thinking. My family, we were at a movie theater to see a kids movie, and we see a man walk in that has on his gloves, a motorcycle jacket, carrying a helmet, and a backpack. He goes up and he sits at the very top in the middle. That didn't sit well with a few of us adults. I get another adult's attention, and we walk down together. We discuss it. We both feel very uncomfortable about it and how we're going to get the kids out, what we're going to say about it. So we went back up and we said, we're leaving. We have to leave now. It's an emergency. Nobody say anything. Just get up and go with us, and we'll explain as soon as we get outside. I think that that was a wise decision, and also a really good way to let the kids know you need to be aware of your surroundings. Who saw that man walk in? Why is he by himself in a kids movie dressed like that with a backpack and sitting where he sat? Things just didn't add up. Of course, we did tell the manager of the theater, and we left. When you're noticing things that your gut is just, it's not sitting well with you, why take the risk? And I would hope by training the children, when they see stuff like that around them happening, it's better to get out of the situation than to risk it and stay there to see what happened. Now, as a reminder, here's a checklist. Stay off your phone as much as possible. This reduces your chances of missing something with your surroundings. Also, remember to have a charger with you just in case you need it. A lot of times I will pack a charger that plugs into the wall in a suitcase or in my purse, so I can always have that handy. If you're traveling by vehicle, make sure that your charger is in your vehicle and you can charge it on your vehicle's charger. Always be noticing your surroundings. Always be looking around, especially if you get on the phone. If you're about to get onto the phone, do a check of your surroundings. Let people know, whoever may be watching, that you are aware. Is somebody traveling with you? I hope so. That's always the best thing to do, but sometimes we have to travel by ourselves. If you're traveling with someone, only one person on the phone at a time. Sit in areas where you can see the entrance and exit as much as possible, which is much easier to do, yes, if you have somebody else with you. That way you can watch both. You see who comes in and you see who goes out, and you also have two places to get out if you need to. What do you see? Who have you seen before? When and where? When traveling, a lot of times you see the same people over and over again, and that's normal. But could it possibly be that somebody's making eye contact with you? Do you look up and you look around often enough to actually see that somebody's been watching you? Does it happen over and over again? Those are some warning signs. While driving, look into your front and back seats before opening the door. And I guarantee you most people don't do that. Even if it's in the daytime, look in your front and your back seats. That just needs to become a habit for you and your whole family. If you get your children used to doing that and it becomes automatic, do not pull over to sleep. Sleep deprivation is terrible, and it is known to be more hazardous to drive while you're sleepy, just even more so than being intoxicated. So you need to make sure that you are rested up and you can do the driving that's needed. Notice who you are passing and who is passing you. This happens over and over. You're passing each other back and forth, back and forth. But start noticing who is driving that other vehicle and who are their occupants. Can you see into their entire vehicle? I'll tell you what happened with me. Just like I mentioned, you're passing each other back and forth. That's just a normal thing to do. You go a little bit faster than somebody else or they slow up on you. You've got to pass them. It's just back and forth, and that's normal. But sometimes it's not. And that's exactly what was happening to me with another little creepy cargo van that I couldn't see all the way into, but I did see who was driving, and I did see that they had a passenger. And this went on for a long time. And I felt like they were stalking me, checking me out. I was in a state where my license plates was actually from another state. They knew I was traveling by myself. I was getting very uncomfortable with it. So what I did was I actually went about 15 to 20 miles an hour over the speed limit. I know that's not safe, but I did it on purpose because back then we did not have cell phones, or I would have dialed 911. That is how long it had been going on. So I would speed up way over, get a good stretch ahead of them, and then I would go back to the speed limit. A few minutes later, they would be passing me again. Now, how did that happen? So I would slow way down, like 10, 20 miles an hour under the speed limit. And guess what? Somehow I would catch up with them. It was back and forth. I saw a rest area and I decided what I was going to do. I had a plan. I pulled into the rest area, which was very busy, a lot of different vehicles. I parked in between two vehicles, and they had to park way far off from me. So I did have a little distance and timing. I got out of my vehicle and started walking slowly to the direction of the ladies' restrooms. The lady, which was the passenger of the cargo van, started to do the same. Then I turned around and I went back to my vehicle and got in. And I was having my head on a swivel the whole time, and I saw her look up, got very concerned, look back at the driver of the cargo van, and okay, now the cat's out of the bag, right? So she ran back to the cargo vehicle as I was pulling off, and of course I gave them a friendly wave. And I just think that you need to really be traveling with somebody if at all possible, and if you're by yourself, you definitely need to be watching around you. Are you being pulled over by a police officer? If you are not certain that it is an actual officer, dial 911 if you're in the United States, or your country's emergency number so you can confirm, is this an actual officer that I am being pulled over by? And please, when you're traveling, no selfies need to be posted on social media while you're traveling. It's just alerting people you're gone. It's saying where you're at, what you're doing, and that is just a very unsafe thing. But when you're traveling, take your selfies. But when you get back, that's when you post it on social media. Pulling over for a gas station or a hotel, keep your cell phones and whistles on you at all times. If you think that you may be followed, even if you're not for certain, don't stop. Everyone stays in the vehicle while gas is getting pumped. That is going to be different. Everybody wants to hurry up and unload and go to the restroom and get their snacks and stuff. Well, maybe you should park at the pump and go in together. Everybody get the restroom break and get their snacks and get back in. But just stay together. Go to the restrooms, pick out the snacks, go to the checkout, and then get back to the vehicle all together. Request from the facility an escort to your vehicle anytime you are uncomfortable, if you're parked in low lighting, and especially if you had to park behind a facility. Planes, trains, and buses. Apply everything that you just learned along with watching part 1 on surroundings and parking lots and part 2 on shopping. Those tips apply here as well while traveling. Let your children know never to be out of your sight, no matter what their age is. Even when traveling with another adult, please stay together and enjoy your time together. When we're talking about safety, sometimes we get anxious and overwhelmed and we feel like we need to be fearful. The point to the safety training is to have you feel more comfortable and at ease because you are making these safety tips part of your lifestyle so you can enjoy your time together. Look for more in this series. Part 1, surroundings and parking lots. Part 2 of shopping. Part 4, house rules. To receive notifications, make sure to click the subscribe and click the notification bell. After these 4 parts, watch for other parts coming, such as false sense of securities. Who really are strangers? Where they are that you are not. Like, let's say, schools, for instance. Parks and carnivals and how to navigate that with your family and kids. Self-defense and more. By hitting the like button on this video, it will reach more people. Please click the like button now and share everywhere you can. Also, I do have some interviews of real life experiences coming soon. And so if you have clicked that notification bell to all, then you will be able to watch those as well. This has been TotallyT, your solutions girl.